and this is one of the best things that that we do. So anyway, we're going to talk about yellow first. Yellow. And by the way, if you can't wait to hear the rest of the colors, I suppose, in this audio format, because I'm going to do these one per episode. If you go to my YouTube channel and you YouTube something like 4 Colors Sam Griffin, it'll pop up. I made like animated videos on there that have been watched a lot. So we're going to talk about yellow first. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Thanks for listening again. So officially in the True Colors format, it's called gold. It's going to be yellow, right? Because I've called it yellow for the last 27 years. And so I'm gonna stay with that because it is different. I call it the 4 Colors. It's different than the True Colors system, but it's very similar. There's a keyword on yellow, so I want you to listen to this for the next 10 minutes or so here, and I want you to kind of rate yourself because this is going to resonate with some of you. Most people are fairly yellow. That's what I would say. There's yellow, orange, blue, and green. And but a lot of you are very, very yellow. And that's not a bad thing. There's strengths, and there really isn't many weaknesses on this. And remember, you're all 4. So you're not just one thing. Like, I can't get behind those things where they put these things in terms of animals. It's like, oh, he's a pigeon, or he's a tiger, or a dog, or an owl, or something like it. Just you can't be just one thing. You're all 4. And the way this test worked was they gave you certain percentages. So you could imagine like paint, like, all right, if you were mixing up paint and say you were 50% yellow. Well, you would have a big blob of yellow paint and then a little bit of blue and a little bit of orange and a little bit of green. And if you stirred that up, that's what you are, right? That's what you are. And you're going to probably wind up hanging out with people the same color, right? And these personality colors. So anyway, let's talk about yellow. So there's a keyword. And the keyword for yellow is organized, right? I desperately want to be more yellow, but I struggle with organization, right? Yellow people do not struggle with organization. They're just naturally organized. They have lists. The lists are made. They love checking stuff off lists. Yellow people get a thrill out of checking stuff off a list and marking it off, right? And they will secretly write something on the list that they're about to do just so they can cross it off. You know who you are. You know who you are, right? So that yellow people love lists, right? Because it's organized. That's the key word of yellow, is organized. And they hate it when things are not organized. So these people are on time. I mean, it's painful to them to not be on time. If they're at a job, they're not only on time, but they're probably a little early, right? Because it makes them physically ill almost to run late. Now, there's another color on here that runs late, okay? And it makes them physically ill to be early. Why would you do that? Well, we're talking about yellow right now. We'll get into the other ones. But you got to promise. If you get into this, don't just stop with the yellow and go, got it, got the big picture, because you don't got it. It's taken me a long time to understand this, and I will teach it to you. But you may need to go back and listen to a bunch of this over again. But anyway, this is yellow. So they're on time, and they're very detail-oriented. Yellow people are detail-oriented. Like, I was thinking about this. What's the yellowest job in the world? I can tell you the yellowest thing I've ever seen on TV. Okay? The yellowest thing I've ever seen on TV was the NASA channel. If you want to know what yellow people, I mean like 1,000,000% yellow is like in a yellow job, it's a NASA thing. They have to go through checklist after checklist, and 5 people have to confirm certain things. Another yellow job would be like a police officer, very procedure oriented. When I was doing a bunch of college teaching, the person beside me was the criminal justice instructor, and the way that they taught class was totally, like, the mannerisms of that class was totally different than me. You know, it was like, on your table, open your book to page 59, paragraph 3, you know, and it's like, it's very like logical steps, right? That's what yellow is. So they're on time, detail oriented, they love lists, they hate it when their friends are late. The one thing I love about this is you can figure out how the relationships of the colors work together, you know. So yellow people, if you're the yellow person in a group of friends, you hate it when your friends are late. You're the one. If you're the late one to the party, the fashionably late people, you're a different color. But if you're a yellow person, you are the one usually organizing that group. You're like, okay, the movie starts at 7:35. I'm going to pick you up here, and at this time, you be ready. Make sure you have, and they're like making sure of everything. You know, that's the yellow thing. As a student, like if you have a class and you're teaching a class, or you have kids or something like that, you know, you need to make sure, if you're a teacher, my goodness, like, you need to make sure you're taking care of all 4 of these colors in your class, or they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you. So to make the yellow people, and I said, if you have a class of 28, okay, you're going to have probably 10 yellows in there. And those people are usually the people who are on top of it, you know, because they really do make for great students, because they know how to budget time and get work done. And so, but they hate spontaneous stuff. The yellow people do not like spontaneous stuff. So if you're like, the first thing a yellow student would ask me is, guess, what would a yellow person ask? It would be, what are we going to do today? You know, they're going to say, what are we going to do today? So to make the yellow people happy, I write it on the board. This is what we're doing today. We're going to do this, and this is the homework. Now, what we do in between is going to be totally fun and cool, right? So, you know, that when a yellow person says, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do today, and they look up at the board or whatever, that is going to make them at ease, right? That's going to make them relax a little bit, and you can get a lot more out of them. If you're just like, if they're like, hey, Mr. Griffin, what are we doing today? And you're like, oh, you'll see. That's torture to a yellow person. Torture. You're torturing them. You'll see. Something fun. You know? So, like I said, they're the group organizers. Now, if you hate group work, here's a couple good tests for you. If you hate group work, say you're at a job or something like that, and you got to work with a group of people, right? And it's not like your coworkers that you work with every day. It's like, we're going to have this project, and we're going to have a group of 5 people, and maybe some of them aren't into it, okay? And they're grumpy butts, and they're like, like that. The yellow person already knows they're going to be doing all this work for the whole group. They're basically going to be doing almost all of it, right? And some of these other colors here are going to be helping in their own way, but the yellow person cannot stand it, and they're going to feel like they're doing other people's work. And that's why yellow people tend to hate group work. Like, if you give them assignment, if you're a teacher, you figure this out. I mean, think about it. You say, all right, guys, I want you to work on 1 through 10 right now. We got 10 minutes left. Start these problems. Yellow people love that. They love that. They're like, okay, boom, and they're laser locked on it. And other colors that are not dominant yellows are all over the place a little bit, and they're asking different types of questions that we'll get into. So they love having stuff planned out, and they want to stick to the facts. You know, yellow people, they don't want to talk about the future so much. They just, I'm talking dominant yellow here. They just want to stick with the facts, and they're like, okay, well, what do we know? What do we know right now? They don't really want to talk about tomorrow or how this is going to impact the future. They just want to talk about right now, concrete evidence. That they would be excellent analysis type people because they can lock on to details. You know, they're structured. Their brain is structured, and that is probably not going to change. Got news flash. That's probably not going to change. You know, my brain does not see details at all. It can take the details and form a picture, right? If you're like, yes, that's what I am like. Okay, you're not yellow. You're a different color. I'm going to torture you. You got to listen to the rest of this, right? I'm just doing yellow today, and I'm going to go pull weeds in the yard. That's right. That's what I'm going to do. They love planning stuff out, facts, data, and details, right? Usually, if you are, you can apply this to your job, right? Or a classroom. Say you have a classroom. Just go back to high school if you're out of high school. So you're in a classroom. Just recall the people. How to spot a yellow person. They're probably the easiest to spot. And say all of the students are coming from a couple 100 feet away down the hall into your room. Okay, and the bell rings. Ding! The first kid in there's yellow. Absolutely. Because they're coming in, and before their butt even hits the seat, they're like, they usually greet you. Hey, Mr. So-and-so. They won't ask you how you're doing. That's a different color. They won't say, how are you feeling today? They won't do that. That's something else. They'll say, what are we doing today? So that they can mentally get this list going, you see. It's wild. It's wild how this works. When you figure all this out, I swear, you can, it's like a teacher superpower. And I make a game out of it. Like I will go in, some of you, I don't know, if you're listening to this and you're a former student, you probably have seen me do this. Like, I will go through this and then I'll put them all in the corners. Like if you're dominant yellow, go to the back corner. If you're orange, go to the right back corner, and then each corner. And so I have them in secret figure out which color they are. And then so, but before they do that, they write it down in secret, right? And then I said, would anyone like to have me guess what they are? And the hands all go up, right? Because they want me to guess. I can just about, I'm thinking 50% of the time I can get the top two, usually in order, you know? And when you know someone is a blue-yellow person, they act a certain way. Or if they're a green-orange person, they act a certain way. If you have a class full of orange people, you got to teach them different than a classroom full of blue people. You can't do it the same way. If you figure this out, you can instantly win classes over. It's pretty cool. And you know, I'm not done with this yet on the yellow thing, but like you can apply this today. Just spot the yellow people. It's so easy. Usually the first one in and the last one out. Okay. What else do I have here? Let's see. Dislike surprises and spontaneous stuff. Right? Going out with friends. Say you're going out with friends on Friday, right? And you're like, say you got two other friends with you, guys or girls, doesn't matter. And you're like, what are we going to do tonight? Okay, the yellow people already know what they want to do. They're like, okay, we're going to go here, here, and here. And some of these other people are like, oh no, let's just go out and do whatever and see what happens. Right? Yellow people are totally uncomfortable with that. I'm talking dominant yellow. Everybody has a little yellow in them. Like for me, it was my last one. That was last on the list, yellow. You know, I